judge ordered the partial release of the jury's report from the 2020 election investigation. Fulton County DA Fani Willis creating a special purpose grand jury to look into the former President Donald Trump and his allies. 11 Alive's Joe Ripley has been on this story for us today, reading through the judge's order. Joe, we also heard from the DA within the last couple of hours. So what's her response to this tonight?
DA Fani Willis said she was pleased with Judge Robert McBurney's order. She tells 11 Alive she's still working on possible indictments, but by Thursday we do expect to learn what recommendations a special grand jury made regarding any criminal wrongdoing in this case.
The report lays out recommendations of who should be indicted and on what crimes related to the attempt to overturn the 2020 election. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney says compelling public interest and transparency required the release of at least some of this report.
The release of portions of a grand jury is highly unprecedented. I've never heard of it being done.
Former federal prosecutor Zara Karenchak says the report could box in the DA once the findings are released. Georgia State University law professor Anthony Michael Kreis says with another election cycle coming up in 2024, any ensuing criminal indictments would likely come sooner rather than later.
Once you get closer to 2024, it's going to be very hard to separate out the rule of law and the basics of the criminal justice system and the politics of the political calendar.
Karenchak believes once those indictments are announced, people will start paying more attention to this probe.
People are tired of the vitriol and the fighting from both sides. They want to live their lives. They want to focus on what's most important.
Willis does have a chance to meet with Judge McBurney to decide what info might be redacted in the portion of the report that will be released. 11 Alive is part of a group of media outlets fighting for that full report to be released. Willis, if she chooses, could now take this case to a regular grand jury to move forward with filing any criminal charges.
All right, Joe, thank you so much. Meanwhile, this special grand jury has been meeting for 8 months. That's how long the process took. And during that time, the jury heard from 75 witnesses, including some major political names. While most of what was said behind closed doors is still unknown, this is what we do know about some of the players called to testify. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp testified in the middle of November. While he had initially agreed to testify, his attorneys tried to quash the subpoena, saying the order had political motivations. His testimony was delayed until after the gubernatorial election. The special grand jury also heard from Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. He testified over the summer. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis said part of the investigation was focused on the 2021 phone call where Mr. Trump pushed Raffensperger to find the votes needed for him to win Georgia.
I want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Another big name the jury heard from was Mr. Trump's former attorney, Rudy Giuliani. He appeared before Georgia legislators in December 2020, laying out several false claims of voter fraud, calling into question the election results. We have a timeline laying out the key events in this investigation right now on 11alive.com. You can find this and much more of our coverage under the Politics tab.